So as I'm sure all of you know, there is some new Genshin drama going on, and it's getting pretty massive. This all has to do with a quick remark made in the recent Genshin livestream. So in this livestream, it is the Lantern Rite livestream. So there was naturally a lot of rewards, a lot of good stuff being talked about. But quickly in this livestream, there was this quick remark where essentially because those players have been playing for the last 3 years, we're going to be getting an additional 3 wishes, which freaking 3 wishes, dude. Holy smokes, that was crazy when they announced that. Anyways, on a serious note, to be quite honest, I didn't even know that they mentioned this. This sentence was quickly made, I didn't even notice. But anyways, I read this before this whole drama went forth, and to be honest, when I read it, I thought nothing of it. I didn't care. I know just how stubborn these developers can be, and honestly, I don't like speaking of the developers in this way, but really there's just no other way to there's no other word to use. The developers can be so stingy, so stubborn, it's crazy. The developers, instead of improving the game and listening to the requests of players, they essentially do things whenever they want. They have their constant flow of content with certain events, missions, players, whatever, but when it comes to actually improving the game, making the game itself better, they don't do a good job. They don't listen to players. They essentially do things when they want to, and even if they do listen to players, they don't implement the things players were even asking for. So honestly, I didn't think much of it. I already know how these developers can be. I know there's no point in asking. It's whatever. I just accepted it. But the CN community did not accept this, and they took this very, very offensively. You know what's going on. They are mass bombing certain accounts of Genshin. People are complaining, unfollowing, stopping to play, all these things. And I must say, I'm really glad this is happening. And I'm glad for 3 reasons. See, if you've looked in the past history of Genshin and its sort of updates when it comes to players' requests, basically always these updates are made when the CN community asks for it. I don't know why the developers are like this. When it comes to global players, as messed up as it is to say, they basically don't care about us. We can ask about certain things, we can demand changes to be made that really need to be implemented. The developers, they will not listen. They will simply not listen. But when it comes to the CN players, when they have problems with the game and they make certain requests, for some reason the developers listen. I don't know, but at the very least, now that the CN community is actually demanding for changes to be made, now there's actually a very good likelihood that something will actually be changed. Now, what changes will be made, we don't actually know. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm really glad that finally the CN community is essentially making use of the power that they have and actually making a good change for the game. And beyond just the CN community making changes, really the rewards should be improved. The rewards that they give out are always so bad, they're so measly. It's crazy just the amount of minuscule rewards they give. It's legitimately a slap in the face. I really don't know what other word to use. With how much support this game gets, how much love it's been invested into this game, time and dedication, both from its beginning to now and without a doubt to its future, the amount of rewards that we get is just, it's mind-boggling. It's insane. And it's especially insane when you take into account all the other gachas in the gaming world right now. These gachas, they won't even be nowhere near as successful as Genshin, yet they still give far better rewards than Genshin ever has given us. It's crazy. What's even more interesting to note, and honestly probably a big reason also why there's been this big drama, is that if you look at Genshin's sister game Honkai Star Rail, they've recently given us, the developers have given us a limited 5-star for free. And the reason the developers have done this is because essentially they won a good bit of awards at a game award convention. And the crazy part is that though he's a limited 5-star and he's free, he's actually really good. It's not as though they're just releasing another Aloy or just, just some sort of decent character that, players can use now. Dr. Ratio is actually really good. He's actually a really strong unit. It's only been their first year and they're already being so kind to their players. They're already giving a free limited 5-star that's really good. Already. And Genshin, in its 3 years, has barely given us 10 wishes? On top of the 10 wishes, maybe another wish, 2 wishes, 3 wishes. It's what? With all the love that you guys have been getting, all the support, this is what you give your players? I know that there's this important discourse when it comes to, okay, do the developers really, do we deserve to get these rewards? I feel like it's a bit of a sort of confusing topic, to be quite honest. Maybe the word deserve isn't the right word, but I feel like we should, just because we've been so caring to this game, so loving to this game. but this is all we get. So I'm really glad that the rewards are being improved, just because they really do need to be improved. They are not good at all. They should have been better from the beginning. But beyond this, I want this sort of fiasco and drama to essentially be a catalyst for players to wake up and see the problems of Genshin and continue to hold the developers to a higher standard. You know, like with everything that's going on, players are now holding the developers to a higher standard with regard to rewards. They see that the developers, they can be stubborn, they can be stingy, they don't do what they should do, and us as players, we need to demand them, albeit respectfully, of course. We don't want to take this too far. There should be no death threats, nothing dumb like that, but I'm sure none of you guys are doing that. But for those that aren't watching this video, please stop. At the end of the day, it's just a game. It's not that serious. No one should be getting death threats nor fearing for their life for such a minuscule thing as a game. But just the fact that now players have this in mind, where the developers, they don't do what they should do. Us players need to ask them to do better, and we've essentially told them to do so in this aspect of Genshin, this being rewards. I want this same thing to be applied to all the other problems that are going on in Genshin. And the two things that come to mind, even though I will state them, they ultimately have to do with improving the game. The first thing is endgame and artifact loadouts. Now, you guys know that my stance on endgame. I've mentioned it quite a few times in the past. Sometimes I've made jokes about it in the video, but the game desperately needs it. It desperately needs it. With how great a game this is, it's so sad that even after 3 years, even after all these players still asking for endgame, albeit not the vast majority of players, they still have yet to do anything. Players have been asking for endgame for so long. It's taken them 3 years to finally acknowledge endgame, which they have, and they've said that they're working on something. God knows what it is, and God knows how long it'll take for them to even finish it and actually be releasing it. But why are you not giving what players want? Why are you failing in this regard too? And then beyond endgame, artifact loadouts. Players have been asking for this for so long. It's been like, I believe players have been asking for this for from the very first year of Genshin. And it's taken them 3 years to acknowledge it. 3 years, and then finally, when they implement it, it's not even what us players are asking for. All we're asking for is a quick and simple way to essentially have a preset loadout of a certain artifact for a character, and essentially we can quickly switch to that. We don't have to one by one choose the artifacts we want and look at their substats. But they still fail in this regard. It can be so aggravating. It's such a headache, honestly. Developers, they should be doing better. They should be the ones continuing to improve the game, but they don't. They just give us the same flow of content, you know, each patch. But when it comes to actually making significant improvements to the game, they don't. And now that players have this mindset where they realize that the developers, they're not going to do anything, we need to hold them to a higher standard, we need to do something about it, of course respectfully. I now want this to essentially extend to all the other problems of Genshin, and just to make Genshin a better game. You know, we all love this game, we all care about it, we all put time into it, we all want it to be the best it possibly can. So I'm hoping that with this mindset, with this sort of realization to certain players, they're now going to be holding Genshin to a higher standard with all these other aspects that need to be fixed. Just as they fixed rewards, they're going to fix all these other important things. And you know, I don't know if this will happen. I feel like this is a sort of seed that's been planted into players' minds. Hopefully it flourishes into something significant to where, you know, we can all enjoy Genshin as much as possible and Genshin finally makes the changes that we're asking for. But we'll just have to see. But anyways, these are my thoughts. What do you guys think about it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think the sort of whole drama that's going on is a bit overblown? Please let me know what you think in the comments. And with that, I'm going to end the video. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Thank you all for watching once again.